How do musicians overcome the challenges that stand in the way of their creative process? And what innovations have these musicians brought to their playing field? Such questions guided my interviews as I probed the minds of 6 metal and hard rock bands at the Fire in the Sky 3 festival.
Take 9, what's your name?
David.
And what's your band's name?
Crimson Guardian.
Rad. So if a space alien came up with a laser gun, point to your head and say, dude, David, what's the genre of your music? What would you say?
Hard rock, heavy metal.
Hard rock, heavy metal?
Yep.
So what aspects of it make it hard rock, heavy metal and not other genres of music?
I have no idea. Probably the distorted guitar. Playing in E or something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like, because other genres like grunge, they got distorted guitar, but there's some...
Yeah. It's the more crispness and the way I set the amp and everything. And it's definitely not grunge. I'm not playing power chords. I'm playing individual notes on the strings and stuff.
Okay. What is your thing? Like, what is it that like distinguishes you from others that like you think about and you want to put on stage?
Presence, pretty much. I like big, heavy, thick riffs, and I don't like to end in minor chords. I like to end in the upbeat.
You got a really unique style with your hand. Like, not everyone does that. Is there a story behind that?
I have cerebral palsy. I'm a triplegic, basically, and my left hand works, but my right hand doesn't work that well all the time. And so I tape the guitar pick to my finger, and I see other professionals do it, so their picks don't fly out or whatnot.
Can you show me? Can you show me what you do?
Yeah, well, I put the tape around here, and I hold it like that.
Yep.
And then I can go back and forth and play.
What do you think holds you back? Like, things hold everybody back. Every musician, something holds them back. Like, what is something that was like a hurdle that you had to get over in order to do what you do today? Like, that was one thing that's a hurdle, but is there something else?
Yeah. So I sit on a stool, and I put my leg up on a monitor. And the reason why I do that is because I have a weak lower back. And so I would love to stand on stage. I would love to run around like Biohazard did and Sepultura did in their early years and jump around. I would love to do that. I'm stuck, just sitting there. So I just try to groove and just get into the rhythm of it.
What's missing? Like, what's next? Like, what you got in this far? Like, is there some other dimension of music that you want to explore? Or is there some other thing that you want to say, or some other note that you want to create? What else is kind of just crystallizing in your mind that you think eventually will come to pass?
There's so much stuff going on. We were working on a brand new album that got put on the side for play shows this year, but going into the fall, we're going to get on that, going back into the studio. And I'm learning how to do the studio stuff and how to cut corners and do cross band and stuff. So I'm building my own studio, and getting older, I'll probably be focusing on that just a little bit more than playing out. But there's a whole catalog of music that needs to be written, different types of songs, all the kind of the same genre, but different fills and stuff, and we're going to experiment with some different type of videographic work and stuff.
Did you have a fluffy animal when you were young? And if so, how did your fluffy animal influence your music career?
To this day, ever since I was a little kid, we've had tuxedo cats, black and white cats. And so that's a fluffy animal. And I still have a black and white cat. His name's Thomas. And all black and white cats are named Thomas. And so that's, he influences just by being there. You know, if you're an animal lover, it doesn't matter if you have a bunny or a duck or a cat or a dog or a parrot or a snake or a tarantula. Yeah, you have a connection with them. You can feel with them, and a lot of times they just like to hang out with you and stuff. And we were working up the show. I had the lights playing on the living room floor, and I was synchronizing them all up. And the cat came over and sat down with me, and he was watching what I was doing and really interested in the lights and how they were moving and turning on and off. I had a piece of tape there, and he got a hold of the tape, and he shook it like a mouse. So, you know, it's really interactive and stuff. It makes it a lot of fun. So good support and support. Yeah. Rad. All right, thanks a lot, buddy. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Really rad. Likewise.
What's the name of your band?
D.P.I.L.C, Dane Peterson's illegitimate love child.
Dane Peterson. Who's he?
He was my husband.
All right.
He started like in the early days of East Bay Thrash. A singer with like De Seeger and Bloodbath, and moved on to Portland, kind of legendary, you know. He passed away from cancer in 2015, so I went ahead and he left me with all these like lyrics and, you know, words, and so I kind of just picked up the torch.
Magic mushrooms growing on the wall.
If there was an alien came along, space alien, and took a laser gun and pointed directly to your head and said, Timmy, make up a new name for the genre of your music now, or else your head's going to get lasered. What name would you make up now?
I would make up Oregon music, Portland music.
Portland music? So,
Portland thrash.
Okay. Portland thrash.
Yeah.
All right. So when I see you guys, I see more than just thrash. I see something that's really abstract and something that is like artistically like distinct.
We want to stay as original as we can.
And what do you do? What elements do you do to make your music or the experience original?
Well, I push my guys like pretty hard too. Like if I hear something that sounds familiar or something, I'm like, no, you know, we can come up with something better.
Every musician has a problem. Like every artist, they have some hurdle that they have to get through, or there's some pain in the ass thing that keeps them from fulfilling their destiny as like the ultimate badass musician that they want to be. Like in your case, like has there been anything?
You know, just the sticking with it. You know what I mean? When things go wrong, you just don't quit. You just keep pushing forward. Well, you know that. You know, it's like, you know, got to find a new drummer. Like our drummer, had to quit. He was amazing, and trying to keep a band together is hard. You know, and then getting somebody to play your music is even harder. So the hurdles that I've ran into personally, and being a female in this genre, is kind of, you know, it's you have to prove yourself. You know, you just can't. You know, you just can't come in and join the boys club unless you can prove yourself a little bit. You know, so those are some of the hurdles I found.
of singers sing, it sounds like they're screaming at like the top of their lungs at a high volume. But like, how loud is it really? Like, can you do that? Can you do like what you do on stage just right now? Just so I can see how loud it is.
Right now?
Yeah, just say like 5150.
5150 on a Marshall stack.
Okay, so that's what it's like.
Yeah, it's really. I just sing with my diaphragm and like stuff.
Okay.
I try not to use my throat, so you like do that all the time.
When you were little, did you have a fluffy animal, like a stuffed animal or a real animal? And if you did, how did it influence the way that your music turned out?
I had a Barbie, actually, a rock and roll Barbie. You know, so she came on like her stage was like a little turntable. She came with like a little paper like song, you know, like a 45, and like I'm happy and Barbie, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that probably influenced it a little bit.
Would you say it influenced the cross that you have that has dolls all over it? That's what comes to my mind.
Yeah, really. That's kind of guy. I borrowed that from Dane.
So, what's your name?
My name is Jesse.
Jesse.
Yeah.
And what band do you play in?
I play in Vadge Fang.
Vadge Fang.
Yes, Vadge Fang.
What's up with that name? It's different from like Nirvana or the Beatles.
It's not that different from Nirvana, though, if you think about the Vadge. But no, it's just one of those things we kind of decided to go with because it's a big part of our lives. Everybody's life, actually. So
The Vadge.
the Vadge, and then the Fang is what keeps you there.
The Fang.
Yeah, you know, metaphorically speaking.
So if a space alien came up with like a laser gun, pointed to your head and said, "Dude, Jesse, what genre are you in?" And if you didn't say, you get lasered out. He laser your brain.
Like genre?
What music genre? Even if you had to invent it.
I would just say, I usually say speed metal.
Speed metal?
Just to keep it easy for people to understand.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, a little bit of sludge in there.
What genre would you make up? What name would you make up?
I don't know.
Like, what does it feel like?
It's like the astrophysics of metal, you know? It's like, it's not just about the boom and the chuck. There's other influences happening in the ether of it, you know? So like the Vagiton field, we talked about that.
Like other dimensions?
Yes, exactly. And it's just an attempt to try to express the dimension as best we can.
What's just something unique that you're trying to cultivate?
I'm trying to blend my influences of my youth, you know, musically, and make it smooth, and try to blend it in a way that is not commonly like done before. Basically, I want to make something that sounds a certain way, and that sound is Vadge Fang. Vadge Fang has an astral type of feeling towards it, so it can't be just straightforward stuff. You know, the most unique thing I think is trying to bring the musicality to it and still be brutal. You know, bring some music to the brutality and make it fit and be kind of trippy.
So not straightforward.
Straightforward, but then not straightforward kind of deal. You know, gotta, you know, the yin and the yang of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking for a twist in the music or something.
Hell yeah, man.
What's next? Like, what's missing? What's the thing that's attempting to be crystallized inside your mind that you're trying to work on? The new thing that's almost there.
Mostly trying to make it smooth and seamless. So transitions need to be seamless, and it's just there's no template to like basically copy. So it's kind of like trying to figure out the template and then trying to reproduce it myself, which we can do sometimes when we're recording. That really helps. We can, listen back to the stuff and try to figure.
What do you mean template? You mean like a template that's already made, or making your own?
Yeah, like I can't copy something. I mean, I could take stuff from like, especially to make it kind of ethereal feeling. You need to like kind of channel some like Pink Floyd or some weird stuff, kind of make it trippy and kind of ooey, but at the same time bring in the straight. This is what's happening in your fucking face type of deal. So everything can be brutal. I mean, it doesn't have to just be brutal, but there's a bunch of cool stuff out there waiting to be immortalized in metal.
How old were you when you took on this instrument? Why'd you do it?
The drums specifically?
The drum.
Yeah, I like to play metal guitar a lot, and it was really hard to find a good metal drummer. And I was always, analyzing the music that I liked and could pick out the rhythm parts and really enjoyed it. And then kind of came to a point where I was like, well, I'll just play some drums so I can write some beats and stuff for my wrist that I just can't get anybody's help with. So I started playing drums. My brother Nate had been playing drums for a while. He's probably my biggest influence, an excellent drummer. And he kind of showed me a way with the basis in like rock and roll and funk and some jazz, and it was just, and metal too, because we came from metal. So he was able to blend that to a point. That's where I kind of jump started my drumming from, was my time watching him. And I basically didn't start until I was in my 30s on actual drumming.
So then I think it'd be unlikely that you would be one to say that you have to start out an instrument super young.
Yeah, it does help. But if you understand the timing and stuff like that, other stuff crosses over from guitars to all that stuff. It's all percussion, timing, and melody too. So you can slap some melody in your drums too.
Did you ever have a fluffy animal when you were a kid? And if so, how did it influence your music career?
I did have a hamster a couple of times. I realized the truth that life doesn't last all that long, so the hamster kicks the bucket pretty freaking fast. And but it was, I guess that was a developing aspect in the fact that nothing is final and nothing's ever going to be here forever. I just have to kind of go with that. That's kind of how I base my life, and then that's influenced my music. So yeah, fluffy little hamster.
Hey, what's up, buddy? It's super rad to see your band. What's your name?
Appreciate it. My name's Jay.
Jay
Hyatt.
Jay Hyatt. And what's your band name?
Red-Eyed Demon.
Red-Eyed Demon.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Jay, if a space alien were to come along with you, take a laser gun, point it to your head, and say, Jay, I'm going to laser your brain if you don't invent right now a genre name for your band. So, new genre name that's never been spoken before in human history. So
an alien asked me that?
Well, he's got a laser gun, so it's got to be.
And he's like, come up with the name for your band that's not
a
thrash metal.
Genre name. Yeah, descriptor.
Thrashtastic.
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 Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys do that's innovative and new that no other bands do? Like, what's something that is like the fingerprint of your band that does not exist in other thrash bands?
The fact that they have a designated vocalist, I think that's the main thing. There's no designated vocalist for us. It kind of sets us apart because there's people in the audience that might be like, oh, this song that Jay sings he does really good. Or, with Doomsday, I like hearing Doomsday play Raining Blood and the various songs that he, does, and Rick, you know, any fucking drummer that can fucking play drums and fucking who fucking do that? What was your question again? Exactly what could be next, like in the progressions? That what the question was?
Yeah.
Writing better riffs, faster, heavier, better melodies. You know, I'm not like the greatest soul guy, but you know, that's something definitely to work on. That's a whole other fucking ball game in itself. But you know, for me personally, I'm trying to get better at playing guitar and singing, which is fucking harder than playing solos in my opinion. And once you get that down, then you know, then you become the Dave Mustaine where you can do all three. Even James Hetfield fucking ain't made it to Mustaine status in my opinion, because when you can solo on top of singing and playing rhythm guitar, you're officially a badass. Even if you're not even very good, the fact that you can do it, pretty good. And you can do it, dude. You can do it.
Thank you, buddy. With the band, has it felt like it's been growing since it started?
Almost definitely. We from the beginning, you know, we never planned on being a cover band. We've had cover songs, you know, like most bands starting out, but all of us have been playing for years. And you know, my goal is to not have any fucking cover songs. It's always good to play, you know, even famous bands do it, you know, throwing a song or two in their set, you know, but the goal is to not have any fucking cover songs at all. And have the audience know what the fuck you're singing, which is why we might have to get on Spotify or somebody knows what the fuck you're singing and talking about. But we haven't gotten that far yet. We're just playing live, so hopefully our music hits the airwaves eventually someday, somehow or another. I couldn't even. I write the shit. I don't get into the technical aspect of it, you know. So I probably should though, huh?
How often do you guys practice?
Once a week, most of the time, unless babies are crying and shit like that.
What is some hurdle or some obstacle, something that existed that
or exists?
Yeah, exactly. Or exists that screwed up your process or is screwing up your process that you're working through or have worked through? Alcoholism.
Probably drink more than I should. Yeah, but you know, people are pissed about that. They'll let you know, and it hasn't gotten to that point. But yeah, but that also helps me in my creative process. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I like to drink and play guitar, but stay away from the hard A and just stick to Coors Light. Keeps the wife happy, and you can play better. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, probably drinking too much, partying too much. You know, show up to shows feeling like shit. That's never a good thing. You know, it happens to the best of us, but you know,
feeling exhausted before you even start.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, if you had a fuzzy animal, either a stuffed animal or a real animal, like, what was it, and how do you think it influenced your growth as a musician?
I had I had a Garfield cat. I think I glued sunglasses on his fucking eyes at one point. I was probably, I don't know, 8 or 9, something like that. And he's not really a good role model if you've seen any of his cartoons. But you know what he did not? He knew how to fucking rest, dude. And you got to rest up to get your battery charged to fucking play metal.
You guys were rad. What's your name?
Thanks. My name is Joey DiMartini.
Joey. Okay, and what band were you in today?
We're in Stone Phoenix.
Stone Phoenix.
Yep.
So what's the name come from?
The name comes from, well, we had another band that was toured and were touring around for a few years, and the name kind of came obviously the general Stone Phoenix thing is kind of a rock metal, fits in the whole type of genre, but it came from the idea that we're coming back, we're rising back from stopping. We had like a 3-year hiatus, so like a phoenix, and stoned was originally because it was really stoned.
What do you try to put into music right now that's not on the formula of any other band that's out there?
Well, aside from the format, which is just guitar, drums, we actually are from a more of a 70s, 80s mindset with our music, which I don't think is currently something that people do. So in our composition, we have choruses that repeat, sing-song type, you can sing along with it. It's digestible for a large range of ages.
I will be the last thing that you never see. See, I keep on living, I'd rather die than be reborn in fire.
If an alien, space alien, were to come take a laser gun, point it at your head and say, dude, Joe, tell me, invent a new genre name for your music right now, or else I'm going to laser your brain. New genre name right now.
Gee, that's tough. I just have to jump back to what they called our previous band, Magical Beast Metal. That's what they called our band before. So I guess it's sort of appropriate because it's still a magical beast. It's a Stone Phoenix. And the last band was a magical beast too, a Disenchanter. Before we were Disenchanter.
And it works?
Yeah, because it's metal and it's kind of magical. We talk about sorcerers and wizards in some songs and stuff, and it's kind of beastly because it's not soft. So that works. Magical Beast Metal.
Magical Beast Metal, that's rad. Has there been anything that kept you from being the musician of your dreams that you had to work through?
Probably, well, I'll start with the social part. That social conformity definitely keeps us from being what we could be, because we don't conform socially we don't play well with rules that others impose on us. So that can limit you or blacklist you in some cases. If you don't follow, if you don't do what you're told by the important people or whatever, you don't kiss the right ass. We don't do that at all.
Name?
My name is Noah G. Smith.
And what band are you in?
I am in Embers Through the Fog, ETTF band on all the social medias.
Okay. How many members are in your band?
Right now, just two. Just me and my drummer, Andrew Rosetta.
What's up with Embers Through the Fog? What's that name mean?
It's kind of derivative of I was in a band years ago called Fire in the Northwest. It's kind of funny because this is fire in the sky. But Fire in the Northwest kind of crumbled. We put it back together, crumbled apart. We were thinking about a band name. The other guys were kicking some stuff around, and I was just like, Embers Through the Fog, because of the fog of confusion, the fire's kind of out. So it was definitely derivative of Fire in the Northwest.
How often do you guys practice?
We try to practice at least once a week, but like we will kind of go on breaks just depending on like what's happening. You know, if one of us is busy or if we don't have any shows booked, you know, we'll kind of like before we practiced last Tuesday, we didn't play for maybe 3 weeks. So then I jumped on the show. I saw the opportunity. David from Crimson Guardian who posted that they needed some bands, and so I said, let's do it. And we practiced like once before we came up, and that was it, you know?
So if a space alien came over with a laser gun, pointed it right to your head, and said, "Dude, Noah, you have to tell me a genre name for your music that's new, a new genre name that hasn't been uttered in any sort of human language before. You got to figure out a new formula of name that describes what you do.
That's
what would it be?
tough.
Otherwise, your brain's lasered, and that's it. No more riffs."
Like stale, nitrous, psychedelic.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know,
That's
like if you've
interesting.
done too many whippets in a room and then you come back in, you know, a few days later and there's just that kind of stale, sweet smell in there, and you're like, oh, God, I'm a wook.
What's something that you bring to the table that other bands don't? Something that like distinguishes you from all other bands in existence.
I guess what's the innovative thing we're doing? I guess maybe just the combination of like, you know, Andrew was a stone cold metalcore guy, you know, in his upbringing and his playing and where he learned and stuff. And I guess maybe just kind of bringing that like metalcore element with that kind of southern stony groovy doom thing.
What is on the cusp of being invented that hasn't? Like, what's the next song? You know?
Yeah, I got a lot of. I call it riff constipation since we don't get to practice as like often and regular as we want. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of loose arrangements and a lot of riffs, and some of them are very old. Some of them are old songs that I've chopped up, and they're all kind of backed up. And I, when I want to come up with new stuff, I feel like I'm just kind of constipated with riffs. I can't get anything new out because I have so much of stuff that is like still just sitting on the shelves of my mind. And so, but I guess if we were to like, what would be the new riff coming down the pipe would be like, maybe some slower stuff, maybe some more like almost kind of ballad driven stuff, you know? Little more emotional content, maybe a little sadder.
What are some challenges or what are some hard things that you had to break through? And maybe these things ended up making you stronger, or maybe you're still working through it and it's been like 40 years of just still working with this deformed hand, or you know,
well,
like
actually,
or whatever.
when you mentioned deformed hand, I got out of nowhere in 2019. My hand started swelling and it came on real aggressively. I didn't know what it was, and finally, after a few months of trying to make it work, I got diagnosed, and it was rheumatoid arthritis. But it came on so aggressive, like it was insane. And then it took a while to get it properly treated, so that was very hard. I mean, is literally like having a cooler full of ice at practice, and you know, in between after every other song, like burying my wrist and hands in ice, you know, and for 30-second intervals or whatever to kind of get back and play until I was a little warmed up and got the blood flowing. I guess the other thing that I've had to overcome is I feel, you know, I've always tried to be like, I'm kind of a psychedelic guy or whatever, and ego is sort of has always to me has been like a negative thing. I try to be extra humble, you know, and try to be. I like to draw a lot of attention to myself, kind of stuff, and I think I had to realize, especially in the setting with other members and stuff, that like I needed to embrace my ego just a little bit, just enough to be like, hey, this song fucking kicks ass, and we're gonna develop it. And this is where the vocals are going to go. They're going to go over these parts and not this part.
When you were little, did you have a stuffed animal?
Yes.
Or a fuzzy animal?
Yes.
And if you did, how do you think it affected your musical career?
Oh, that's a wild question. I had a lot of stuffed animals as a kid, but the main one was like a teddy bear from my mom's father. He had a red sweater, and we called him Sweater Bear because he had this like red sweater that you could put on or take off or whatever. And I always wanted to be in a band, and I always wanted to play music. So maybe just like bouncing that idea, like sitting there with Sweater Bear and like thinking about that and idealizing that, and maybe imagining him as a partner or future band member, or whatever, my homie.